This is the U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
As you saw on the right-hand side of your screen, Bill Maloogian talking to a lot of Chinese and Turkish, primarily people crossing the border, while Fox News has pressed the White House.
Night-night, love you.
There, you saw the cameras that are capturing the people who are coming now into mostly Southern California. Bill Maloogian's live in Yacumba. This is the most concentration that we're seeing on the border now.
Concentration?
Is that the Sphinx behind him?
Martha, it is, and it is not slowing down. Our CBP sources tell us another 120 Chinese nationals crossed illegally yesterday right here in the San Diego sector, and we were there to witness many of them. We'll get right into this video. Take a look. This was late yesterday afternoon here in Yacumba, right where I'm standing, a mass illegal crossing through private property made up of predominantly Chinese and Turkish nationals. We saw some of them carrying their luggage with them. We're talking on their iPhones as they walk through. We saw one guy even spray himself down with cologne as he was walking.
Hey, bro, he's Turkish.
People as they were walking in, some were willing to talk to us, others.
I love how they make it so it's like these people actually have money, so it's not because they're desperate to come here. Like that's they're like that's scarier when the migrants aren't poor.
Yeah. Had zero interest in being on camera. Take a listen. Where are you from?
China.
What country? China?
China.
China?
China.
Gee, I wonder what why the Chinese people had zero interest in being on camera. I wonder if there's something culturally that could explain why they're like not about to be like, hey, I'll tell you all my secrets.
Yeah.
What country are you from?
India.
India. Where are you going?
Like, what if they get deported?
America.
You're in America. What city?
I don't know.
You don't know? Why'd you come?
Bro, leave him alone. He's exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hi, guys. Where are you from? China? You guys from China?
Oh, my God. Leave these people alone.
China? Hello. What country? China?
Okay. Gotta say, problematic to just go up to Asian people and just go, China? China? Just calling, like, you're just calling them China. Hey, China?
China? No? China?
Okay.
So this ended up being a group of about 100 illegal immigrants, again, mainly made up of Chinese and young men from Turkey. A Border Patrol van was actually playing audio in Mandarin, giving instructions to the...
Bro! You're just
what
showing
are you
people's
doing?
Documents live on camera like this?
What channel
Chinese.
is this?
We talked to a
Fox.
This is Fox proper?
Yeah. Fox News proper. Because like before I was like,
God.
I was literally thinking in my head, they're showing it from the side because they like Border Patrol said you can't like film these people's documents.
Was actually playing audio in Mandarin, giving...
That's wild. That's like, this is like this kind of criminal action we're looking at here, bro.
Yeah.
Filming under a Border Patrol agent's shoulder like that to fucking get somebody's documents on camera.
Yeah, no, that's not right.
Audio in Mandarin and giving instructions to the Chinese. We talked to a Turkish man who spoke English who said he sold everything he had to get here to the United States.
Come on!
He also expressed shock at how easy it was for them to just walk across the border into the United States without any resistance. And he said Americans should be worried about who's coming into the country. Take a listen.
Surely they would.
Did you have to pay a cartel?
Surely.
Yes.
How much?
Around 10,000.
10,000?
Yes. In fact, the American people is right. Completely true. Who come into this country? They don't know. Well, okay, I'm good. But how if they're not good? How they're killers?
Oh, me? I'm the good migrant. The people joked. It's like, oh, Turkish migrant instantly becomes Republican before coming into this country.
Yes,
No,
yes.
he was Republican before he came here. Back in Turkey, he's probably like, I'm leaving because of all these Syrians. The Syrians destroyed our economy.
Psychopath else. No guarantee of that. Why? Like no security, no security check, no background check.
No security check, no background check. You're worrying about who's crossing the border?
Yes. Of course, me because I'm like, people are not look normal.
Wow, epic.
And I asked that guy how he managed to get here to the San Diego County border all the way from Turkey. He told me it was a 24-day
cool.
journey.
Telling
And
them
some
where
of the
they crossed
places he
into as
traveled
well.
through
Very cool.
included Qatar, Dubai, Egypt, South Africa, and Brazil before he even got to Central America or Mexico. We'll send it back to you.
Wow, and the door's wide open. That is incredible. That's an incredible soundbite, Bill.
Okay, wow, the door's wide open. He had to go to 15 countries before getting here. I can't believe how open the door is, even though he's from a country that is a NATO member and technically, you know, like an honorary member of the not European Union. And you might get in there someday, club.
Insane. I can't believe that's fucking crazy.
Vein of like boneheaded decisions, you know, like this is so, I don't even know what to say about this one. So China's kicking our ass right now when it comes to electric vehicles and solar energy production, because unlike America, some people who manage Chinese economic affairs have more than one brain cell. So what are we doing? A 100% tariff on electric cars from China.
Should be
a 100%. Insane. I can tell you, I know for a fact, okay? Thousands of economists across the United States committed seppuku upon seeing this. Okay, they sudoku'd themselves right over into the you know, the great economy. What's economist heaven? Hell, to hell. They went right to hell.
Wow. And would you believe it?
insane.
When you put economists in charge of government, you get Ashraf Ghani.
Hey, China said it was opposed to the hikes and would take retaliatory measures.
Who gives a
Let's
fuck
go
what
for another
economists have to
trade
say?
war. It's
Yeah.
so stupid, man. Remember when Trump's trade war with China did literally nothing?
Bro, it's
except
literally not
Remember
a
when-
trade war. It's
Remember when
literally
Trump
not a
parried
trade war.
everything, and this is specifically
Yeah.
targeting certain things?
It's
for
literally
a
not a
purpose?
trade war. It's literally not a trade war. That's not what's happening here.
make commercial goods in America more expensive. For
Also,
our citizens.
why are you highlighting this when, of course, China's opposed to it? They're fucking us over by doing this.
Well, it's like like predating this, right? We even primed the story. We started priming the story. When was the first EV torture video that I had to suffer through for this story that needed to be told? You know, it wasn't that long ago. It was like a
it's only been a
PBS or
couple- a
VOA
couple
video,
months.
right?
Yeah.
And like,
No, it was like when the American governors were over there touring their fucking EV bootlicking. That's
no,
when
I'm
it
talking
was.
about on stream though.
Yeah, we did those on stream. Is when
Okay.
the governors went over to China and were doing their
I
tour.
thought that was before we even started streaming. Anyway, but like the thing that we were talking about is just like literal showed news coverage from PBS talking about like with France. I think France was like no EVs from you.
Yes.
And then another country, I think Spain, was like, yes, EVs from you.
And
like,
in Germany, I think, rejected them as well.
Well, it was something like that. France
Yeah.
might have said yes, Germany might have said no.
Mm.
But it's because they've been flooding these Eastern European countries with these cars and basically forcing them to buy them by fucking clogging up their ports. If you remember the pandemic, didn't America have a problem with the ports and backup?
Mm-hmm.
And and they couldn't get to the goods because there was so much shit there they had to
Yeah.
fucking go through. How much of that do you think is already that type of economic policy? Just clogging up our
especially
shit,
especially
forcing
now
us
that
to buy
China,
shit.
especially now that China has seen how fucking brutal choking up supply lines can be.
Well, I'm not saying
knowing-
because of that. They're doing it to force to get money. They export their cars in mass because it makes them money.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's what
this
it
is why I say that they should just send them back. Don't even unload them. Just send the ships back.
That costs money too.
Big deal. It's not your
That's
problem.
That's why countries are now proactively telling them no.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah. Don't even. Don't
But we're
even
not
unload
even
the
telling
ships.
them no, though. We're not banning them.
That's the most insane thing. It should be export ban. All of them. Export
I
ban.
mean, Europe is way more extreme, and we're going to act like this is like America being anti-China doing a trade war. What about the
Yeah.
European countries that physically banned them?
No, yeah, exactly. It should be 100% import ban. Like they should not be allowed to come into the country. Any country outside of China.
Citizens, and also require more subsidies on our like corn farming, our agriculture, because we like up the trade. You know,
Hey, Vosh,
that was so great.
How
You know,
are
you-
EV tariffs going to affect corn? Give us
Well,
your
he's
insight,
giving
buddy.
an example of how America has done dumb shit with subsidies and trade in the past.
You can buy an electric vehicle in China for like $8,000. They're so much cheaper. The only electric vehicles
you can
get
walk down to a field and get one for free, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
over here.
I'd bring up the video, but we already showed people.
1 or 2 lines per car company, and then you've got the Tesla shit-ass overpriced cars. You know, in China, where they're 10,000 years ahead of the West, you can get an electric vehicle simply by, you know, saluting a framed photo of Xi Jinping hanging over the car dealerships front entrance. You know, if you do a salute, like they'll just
what?
He's kind of right there. At least it is basically how you get one.
Give you one. It hurt farmers here for so much. China buys a lot of our oil because we produce the most. Oil? What the fuck is oil? Oil? Corn? Corn oil? Oil. Soy. Thank you. Soy. We love our good old American soy. I'm full of it. They follow months of criticisms by former President Donald Trump, who is running for the White House against Mr. Biden and has argued his rival support for electric cars would kill the U.S. car industry. Mr. Biden on Tuesday vowed he would not let China, quote, unfairly control the market for electric vehicles and other key goods, including batteries, computer chips, and basic medical supplies. You know what this means, by the way? By unfairly control the market, what he means is China invests in their industry, and you could get all of these products.
What? Something wrong?
They don't invest. They say...
No, they're investing in themselves.
They will say, hey, we'll buy all your dairy products, then you get massive amounts of government cheese. That's what they're doing. Maybe that's a reference you'll fucking understand.
Well,
because Chinese propaganda just makes your brain turn off, apparently. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, don't you know they're the head of the green energy sector and don't use any coal?
No, none at all. It's definitely not our primary exporter in Australia is coal to China.
China, like
Australia doesn't fuel. Australia doesn't fuel 60% of China's energy. No, that doesn't exist.
Those coal farmers need jobs, though. You're not thinking about the coal farmer.
A lot of these
Gina
products.
Reinhardt. You want to see her new portrait? It's great.
Who?
She hates it.
Who?
She's a coal billionaire in Australia. Australia's.
She's a coal farmer?
Yeah, she's a coal farmer. Australia's richest person. Here she is. Look at her. This gorgeous, gorgeous creature.
It's like Saturn devouring his child.
And this unpleasant...
I don't know. This seems fatphobic to me.
This unpleasant wretch of a human being is Australia's richest person.
I don't think you can call them that.
I can call her whatever the fuck I want to. What's she gonna do? You call me a name. Fuck you. Cry about it, bitch.
She will.
Are far more expensive when produced over here, and he wants to interfere with an unironically good element of the free market by forcing you to buy domestic, even if the quality is worse, even if the cost is higher.
The quality won't be worse, I promise you.
It definitely will not be.
We will see. We will see after China's Cybertruck, though, because I am confident that they can make a better one. That's how bad the Cybertruck
comparing
is.
Teslas to China is basically comparing China to China at this point. It's pretty much a Chinese company. It might as well be.
Yeah, that's a good point. They are all built there at this point.
Tuesday, they will hit an estimated $18 billion worth of imports. China also engages in a shitload of corporate espionage. I don't care. That's not relevant. You can't do tariffs are dumb.
Yeah,
like you can't do this trade war shit.
Corporate
the average car cost in America is $48,000.
No.
Again, if Vosh actually followed the stories, you know how I just got a knack for sniffing them out. I knew I had to suffer through Jack bitching about Chinese EVs because I knew what was about to happen. I saw Europe doing something, and when Europe starts doing something, like freeing slaves, it's like inevitable for the U.S. to follow suit and then say they did it first.
China imported 52.47 million metric tons of Australian coal in 2023. Let me find the amount that they...
Even with 100% tariff, would China EVs still be cheaper? Yeah, they still would be, I think. At least the lower end ones. But I don't think I don't think those are getting imported.
Solar panels
if you want those cars, of course, you need to contact a Chinese manufacturer.
Australia exported 1.61 million metric tons. So half of it was to China. Literally half, a third, sorry. A third of our exports are to China. A third of our coal.
Manufacturer or dealership and manage
seriously though
the export of them.
Let's just think about this for a second. where are the Chinese cars in America?
Mm.
I don't know a Chinese brand. What's a Chinese brand? What's a big one for cars?
For which country?
America.
Ford.
I mean, that's an American brand.
I mean the like American-made cars or American-made EVs.
Just where are the Chinese imported cars from a Chinese company?
Oh, like MG is Chinese now. BYD, Great Wall. These
I
are
don't
all.
know if we have BYD.
No, you probably wouldn't, but you would have maybe MG, Chinese car companies.
MG, we have GM.
Volvo
We have,
is
yeah, I've
now.
seen Volvos, but I don't know if they're Chinese Volvos.
Well, they may not be made there, but they're definitely owned by
Yeah,
China.
yeah. So I'm talking actual manufacturing. I mean, we ban the Hilux.
Mm.
You know, so like we ban a lot of different cars and shit from our industry, right? Already.
Yeah.
So I don't see Chinese cars in general. So if we already aren't worried about Chinese cars being on our market, right? They already aren't there. There's no tariff on regular cars, right? So where are the Chinese cars if they're so cheap, right? It's almost like this is a response to a specific policy China's doing with their EVs.
Well, I think
you know what I'm saying?
California.
You know what I'm saying though? Like,
hold on, let me
this is not a response to Chinese vehicle competitors. This is a response to Chinese policy and what they've done with their EVs. If we were worried about Chinese cars, we would have banned other Chinese cars.
Can we just address the AP using well-built and Chinese EV in the same fucking sentence? No AP, no. This is horse shit. They blow up.
It's not even about if the cars are good or not, okay? What we need to understand about this is that China subsidizes this. You know how we were talking about subsidizing corn and how that was bad and subsidizing dairy was bad? This is the subsidy to end all subsidies. So if we look at like the amount of conflict mining that goes into like batteries and stuff, it's all going to these Chinese EVs, and they just are dumped into landfills because the Chinese government subsidizes so much that they literally just throw containers full of them at countries, and the countries then like acquire a debt and are forced to like pay it to China. And these things are produced at such a rate that it's literally hurting the world. Like it's killing people in Africa. Like there's so many problems around it besides like consumer safety stuff. Like consumer safety is like the last concern. There's so many other things that like we've seen their policies, and like Mexico just accepted a policy, so we'll see what happens to Mexico. We'll see if in a few months we're starting to hear stories about how Mexico is fucked over from the flood of these Chinese EVs. But just look up Chinese EV landfill. They're all plated, they're all registered, they're just cars, still have like the seats still have plastic on them, just sitting in fields.
I just want to point this out, that this is on the AP, right? This is a dude being interviewed. He says the Western markets did not democratize EVs, they gentrified them. Says Bill Russo, founder of Automobility Limited Consultancy in Shanghai. And when you gentrify, you limit the size of the market. China is all about democratizing EVs. This is textbook Chinese propaganda. It's nothing but buzzwords, and they actually produce nothing. These cars are cheap because, as I said before, they said we will subsidize and buy all dairy products. And now you have tunnels and tunnels and tunnels of government cheese. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. America has already done this and already knows the consequences of what this does.
And the thing is that the coverage about these things is so bad that people look at this as irrational, and they're like, but don't we want to support the EV industry? I thought green technology was a good thing. Oh, it must be big oil that's stopping this. When the disaster that is this, like the economic disaster that just the EVs And this isn't the only industry China does it with. Like, look at this. Here's another picture.
Also, the ecological disaster caused by the production of these batteries into these cars, which then go and rot in fields.
These are rideshare bikes from failed fucking rideshare ventures in China. Brand new.
Yep. Same thing.
How much African resources, you know, how many children died for all these bikes to just sit in a landfill? And that's the problem with Chinese products, is that unlike ours, where you can buy a cell phone or a computer and be like, wow, I know that slavery was in this product. I know that genocide labor was in this product, right? And then it gets to the point where the capitalism is so rampant and like also so communist because it's subsidized. It's, you know, some, you know, Klaus Schwab capitalism, I guess, right?
You mean it's fascist?
Yeah, it's just crazy that it's the waste that really kind of gets to me.
Yeah. Like, and if you don't understand what I'm referencing by government cheese, look up the story. It's insane. Like, it's even worse this time because it's a foreign government dumping that cheese into your kitchen. And now you have a bunch of rotten cheese. That's why I'm using this analogy.
They had that cheese that when they said we're releasing all this cheese and the government cheese, they literally had a stockpile. You know how they had the stockpile of oil? So the government has a stockpile of goods like cheese.
Yes. And it's because they said that they would subsidize the dairy industry because they didn't want milk. I think it was milk. They didn't want milk farmers dairy farmers to milk was becoming too cheap. And then that's where the Got Milk ad campaign came from. They weren't advertising anything, just milk. That's also connected to the government cheese shit.
Yeah, it was a government product program.
Yeah, all of this is all because America decided to
like the Nebraska.
Subsidize.
Like, look at our obesity with corn and corn and everything.
Yep. I guarantee it's probably the same thing. They said we'll subsidize corn, so everybody grew corn, and now there's too much, and every American is fat. So, yeah, because this is what happens.
Like, I think like vehicle safety is one thing. I think the worst case is vehicle safety from outside the vehicles that's being ignored in this country. There's problems with our cars.
Yeah. Also, these cars are not safety tested.
Yeah.
So they should not be on foreign roads. They also explode. They're prone to exploding. A lot. Kind of like
but a true ultra liberalist, which is funny that they call themselves this, but it's actually capitalism because it's not liberalism. But these people, the intense libertarian assholes, Ayn Rands and stuff, they would say that it's the customer's risk. We shouldn't have to have a seatbelt. If the car explodes, that's on the customer for buying the exploding car.
No. So the seatbelt is not the same. I will die on this fucking hill.
No. But this was an argument made by those people.
No,
like
I know,
Milton
but
Friedman and stuff.
No, I understand, but it's
and
also...
he was mad because they were taxing cars on their emissions. Milton Friedman, right? So he's like, if I want to pollute, I can pollute. That's between me and the Ford Motor Company or something. Classic Milton Friedman dribble.
Yeah, it's like, but this kind of like,
New Hampshire doesn't require you to wear a seatbelt or a helmet on a motorcycle.
Cool.
And they also don't have like any sales tax.
Oh, that's pretty.
They're super. That's why it's you have the libertarian New Hampshire stuff. New Hampshire is actually one of the more libertarian states.
Yeah.
Not that the Libertarian Party's big, just that they have a little more libertarian policy.
It's like kind of libertarian, yeah.
Yeah. Loose gun laws, too.
Yeah. Seems kind of based. I think I'd still wear a seatbelt, but...
Yeah, I mean, I always did, but I can tell you, in that state, I did not once see someone wearing a helmet on a motorcycle.
Are road deaths higher?
I couldn't tell you, but there's less population and shit, so...
Interesting.
To America on their own. Like, you can't go to an American dealer of any kind.
They also use
cars. So I think there are already prices like being increased.
Good. I like this place even more.
Yeah.
picking that
It
up
is New
from the
England
get-go. And then
after
now
all. It's not, you know,
this adds on
America.
top.
Yeah.
Top of it, and it's complete bullshit. Like, this is just anti-free market. Like, I'm saying this, okay? I mean, like,
Anti-free
you know, if I'm
market. It's
No,
actually,
what China is doing is anti-free
it's actually
market.
pro-free market, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
saying anti-free market as like a derogatory statement, then you know it's bad, okay? Because I don't give a fuck about the free market. But in this case, it is literally just like, let's protect Tesla, let's protect like local overpriced car manufacturing. You know, pay $50,000
the cars that
for a
are
vehicle.
already being
You will go
manufactured and built in China. That's who we're protecting with this policy, Vosh. You're a genius.
into debt for it. You will spend the rest of your life paying off the interest on the principal on the car that you got in an accident in 3 days in, because nobody knows how to drive in America, and all of our roads are just gigantic, like, blighted parking lot wastelands that you can.
So what you should buy is a $10,000 beer can from China. Yeah, that's a great fucking idea. Good planning. You know what you should actually buy, though, is a $10,000 Toyota Corolla from about 2008. That's probably a much better investment for you.
Oh, God. Now
Run
we
across
have
80
to
miles an hour.
Toyota Corolla.
That's the life that you deserve. This is actually China's overproduction problem. They can't sell any of those EVs to their own economy because their consumption rates are dead, so they're trying to dump it on the US. How is that a bad thing?
Oh,
is that bad? So China overproduces, so we can't buy that? It's not like American.
I can't believe people are explaining it to him, and he's just going to tell them they're stupid
want
and
to
he's
buy
smart.
like a cheap Chinese electric vehicle. They should be able to, without the government arbitrarily placing a massive tariff on it. Would this not have a downstream good issue for making cars more expensive? No.
This is so claimed, right?
Probably.
Dependency, unless you're investing in actual alternatives. This is just like, buy the car, buy the vehicle swap American. Like, you will buy an $80,000 Ford F-150 with all the trappings on it. You will never use it to haul anything. Like, it just hurts people.
For like when it was the height of like, not, it's kind of the height of comic book era now, but more so back then, where it was like a post-apocalyptic alt universe where the only thing that survived was like comic books and some guy's comic collection. So everyone thinks that's the life that they want to get back to. So it's like Fallout LARPs, like like a 1950s society in a way, right? So that's the aesthetic, is that nobody can actually read. They just have these comic books that they reference from. So it's like a Batman parody, but he drives like a shitty Toyota Corolla around and like stabs people to death with a sword and shit.
I'm trying to find a big picture of the new Corolla, the all-wheel drive one. It's fucking cool. That's the Corolla you should want.
He always runs over the curb. Because nobody can drive in post-apocalyptia.
Post-apocalyptia.
Yeah, but it's just like a way to explain why everyone is a superhero. That like nobody is done. It's so stupid. I can't believe nobody bought that shit. That's gold. You don't even have to be Batman, you know?
Why is this so hard to find a big picture? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. The Powerpuff Girls were in there, and they had booty shorts that said sugar, spice, and nice.
It's not a Corolla, it's a Yaris, but this is sick. This is what you want. And it's economic. Like, it might not be $12,000, but you'll have fun and you won't be polluting the world. Much better option than shitty Chinese vehicle made by slave labor.
Ford F-150 with all the trappings on it. You will never use it to haul anything.
Also, I find it very funny that Vosh is like, oh, why can't free market buy shitty Chinese car that China forces on people? But free market decide to buy F-150 that bad. It's not free market, they force you. They force you buy this thing. Yeah, well, China bans most cars from import, so fuck's sake.
Just took delivery at $99 on the Corolla. Was it easy, Joan?
It was easy.
How easy was it?
Huge. BuffaloCredit.com.
You went on to hugebuffalocredit.com?
Yes,
and you can too, folks. Hugebuffalocredit.com. It was that easy. June here is driving away $99 on this beautiful Corolla. That's what it's all about at Facillo Toyota right here on Grand Island, where your experience is going to be what, June?
Huge.
She said it right there. Huge.
New York. I'm Dave. I'm the new manager here in Grand Island, and I need a little help with my.
Enough. Like, it just hurts people. Yeah. this tariff affects zero cars. It literally just says up here that it will hit an estimated
Like,
18 billion worth of imports. But if you want to import an EV an EV from China, it affects that. I don't know how much of a factor it is, but many of the Chinese EVs don't meet American safety standards. Yeah, but there are ones that do, and also it prevents like
no.
You'll be driving a beautiful
Fuck's sake.
Camry. It's Philly Facilla right here. Facilla.
Fuck off. No.
To have them meet American safety standards, because now there's an additional economic pressure against importing those vehicles because of the massive tariff. They're wrong, Vosh, according to the White House, which lied. Benjamin, you have an awfully high opinion of yourself.
Look, Vosh, he's correct. You're wrong. Shut the fuck up and listen to your chat for once. Actually learn something.
BBC article is quoting the White House. The White House is wrong. Then provide an alternate source, please. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to take your word on that. Like, actually the White House was incorrect. Just give me find a link, please. Go ahead. As well as a rise from 25% to 100% on electric vehicle tariffs, levies on solar cells will increase from 25% to 50%. This is exactly what we need, by the way. Increasing the price of solar cells in America. I think that's exactly what.
Oh my God!
Thank you, green energy.
Again. This is.
I'm just gonna
putting those solar cells into our market will not help green energy come, bro. It's not gonna happen. Even Elon Musk's shitty solar city went under because it was backed up by this type of labor practices. Because Elon is the closest thing to a fucking Chinese businessman we got. Even though it's not even like the businessman, because it's the fucking government that's subsidizing and forcing this shit out. Thank God they don't subsidize Tesla.
ISIS Toyota is great. Actually, no, they do subsidize Tesla, and then they sell their carbon credits off for extra money.
Yeah, that is carbon credit stuff. I mean, that's different. It's different.
Sure.
It's not the same.
G. Biden. I really appreciate that. Tariff rate on certain steel and aluminum products. Aluminium products will more than triple to 25%, up from 7.5% or less. But why though? Because trade war. Because protectionism.
It's not a fucking trade war. Holy shit. I don't know why Chinese
I just want to point out that
brains to mush.
Vosh's chat smarter than him. Hassan chat dumber than him. Anyway, think about this though. This is a rational question. But why though? Oh, trade war. Why don't you actually have an analysis and think instead of just jumping to conclusions that it's a trade war? It's not.
It's so much deeper than the trade war. It's so much deeper. It goes back years. This is Xi Jinping planning years in advance. Since 2008, he has been planning this. He's wanted to do this. You can look at the history. It's there. It's
also
freely available.
Like we said before, the steel was to help Japan. If anything, the steel tariff is a trade war thing.
Yeah, and more for Japan's benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't sell them Pennsylvania Steel or whatever the fuck it was. America Steel, whatever the company was.
So because buy American.
I think it was America Steel.
It's not even buy American. It's not buy Chinese, right? And this is what I did.
It's not even not buy Chinese though.
It's just not buy Chinese steel and EVs.
No. It's not even that. It's not even that. It's specifically with the EVs. It's hey, China fucked over countries by offloading these. We have to make sure that it's a tariff, so they prevent that from happening here. You can still buy a Chinese car.
It's just very expensive.
Sorry.
It's normal price now.
It says they can import. If they have a tariff, that means they can import, can't they?
Yeah. So it's not a.
So they must be here somewhere.
It just. Are you going to spend 50 grand on a Chinese EV, or are you going to spend 50 grand on an Audi EV? You tell me. Because between me and you, I'm buying the Audi. I'm going German. And especially because my proposition for my uni project where I looked at this, I said you need to cut, because we have a luxury car tax, so any car over 60 grand gets an extra $20,000.
I think we have
put on top of it, which is the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Because I don't know what ours is, but we have something like that. I'm pretty sure.
So the Tesla Model 3 is supposed to be the cheap model, right? That car is $70,000 here because of the luxury car tax. That's not affordable. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so I said in my proposition, I said no luxury car tax on electric vehicles, 25% rebate on all non-Chinese built electric vehicles or non-Chinese owned electric vehicles, and then you and then no rebate on the Chinese ones. So it's just they stay where they are, but the other ones come down to match them, because then they're not going to sell. People are going to get in higher quality electric vehicles. They're going to have a higher chance of rebuying. This is exactly what they should be doing. If countries want to maintain competition with these kind of things, this is what they need to do. They need to offer the rebates so that these cars, these better cars, are the same price as the Chinese one.
Bing, you come in and off, 2 minutes, you're at the store. $99 a month, a brand new Corolla. August extravaganza, it's huge, Buffalo, huge.
How many years ago did you first hear that China is like pushing to be the leader in green tech?
Probably 5-6 years.
But it's like been a constant ramp up that we've heard this rhetoric that China's investing greatly in green technology.
Yeah.
So it has been something that they have been rolling out. So it's like, why do we care about the Chinese solar panels? Almost like they've been, trying to push to capture this industry. And again, you look at Saudi Aramco, they're divesting into chemicals. They're trying to figure out hydrogen fuel cell tech. Germany is in hydrogen fuel cell tech. There's plenty of countries that are investing in green technology. It is a rational thing for the Chinese to be like, oh, if we invest in this technology, we'll get ahead. Look at what we just learned about Kenya today. They're investing in technology and they're getting a nice, sweet deal with the U.S.
Except China's not investing.
Well, it sounds like that America is just xenophobic to me.
Sure. That's definitely the take here.
What would you say?
The semiconductors are obvious, right? The tariff on that.
Yeah, that's
we really need to get into why that one's there.
Yeah,
and also they mentioned that with Kenya, if they're going, like I was going to say, is the semiconductor market, because the China produced the lowest end ones, right?
You can get some cheap ones and give some jobs and shit to Kenya.
Yeah. So if Kenya can, even if they are produced, even if a Chinese company produces inside Kenya, that might even be a type of way to develop their industry. I'm not sure. But if they're getting a stake in the market of those lower end, chips, that's going to be really good.
Yes. Yeah, it could spark up industry, tech industry further as well, having actual readily available semiconductors.
Yeah, well, it's just that you'll never match China's output.
I don't know.
So Kenya realistically won't control the market, but if they can get the euro has a decent chunk of the dollar supremacy, pretty much anywhere will trade in euro. What countries won't take a euro?
Yeah.
Able to offer cheaper products due to substandard working conditions. American vehicles, America already makes its shit in China. That's totally irrelevant.
Correct.
All the shit you buy.
Bosh, it's almost like you could come to a conclusion here that it's not trade war stuff.
So the idea that no, we're protecting local industry. No, we're not. That's not
correct.
We're not protecting. This isn't a workers' rights thing. This is protecting American companies, not American labor.
No, it's consumer protections, you flog. It's literal consumer protection.
It's also our own economy being protected.
Yeah.
Before anything else, it's the U.S.'s bottom line to not fucking get a fucking import Chinese vehicle EV landfill. Even though that hasn't happened in other countries, there is misinformation where they'll show the EV landfills in China and be like, this is France.
Yeah. I'm sure that is happening.
I think that's probably honestly, a smokescreen tactic from China, though, to debunk it.
Possibly, yeah. Australian roads are the EV landfill, though. They are fucking everywhere, and it's a cancer.
I'm sure we have plenty.
NPR article says cheap electric EVs are largely kept out of U.S. Wouldn't that be part of my point? That's 5 takeaways from Biden's tariff hikes on Chinese
whenever he tries to talk politics, which is his major thing, he's wrong. This is when you're right, okay? It's easy to be right when your baseline is just...
I just want people to have health care, honey.
Cheap Chinese EVs. That's great. This is good. I think we should have to pay more money for our vehicles. Chinese electric vehicles from makers like BYD aren't just cheap. They're also good.
No, they
Economist
aren't.
Sue Helper, a former Biden official who recently took a BYD Seagull for a test ride, called the car impressive and cute. Well, that's nice.
Look, journalists don't know what a good car is if it fucking ran them over. Why are we listening to journalists on what good fucking cars are?
Well, this was a Biden admin guy who was in China and said, "Oh yeah, it's nice. I like it."
Oh, dude, should I bring up the video of fucking Gavin Newsom sitting in the Chinese SUV that's literally just a Land Rover stolen and 3D printed pretty much, going, this is great. How the fuck are you, why am I listening to you on what a good car is?
Let's cut to Putin shaking that robot hand that he's clearly nervous about.
Like, why are we listening to non-car journalists who are saying that garbage, piece of shit, absolute bottom of the barrel electric cars are impressive and cute? On what metric?
Again, this doesn't matter because the issue is the subsidization.
What does cute mean? Is cute gonna get me to the city? Is cute gonna run out halfway?
It depends.
Is cute gonna blow up and kill me? What the fuck is going on? Shut the fuck up. Impressive. What is impressive? That it goes 100 kilometers on a charge? What's impressive? Shut up.
Read the paragraph right above that. Okay. So far, Trump-era tariffs largely kept affordable Chinese-made vehicles out of the U.S., even as they gained popularity in Europe and other markets. The tariff hikes are meant to ensure that doesn't change. How the...
Hold on. I need to stay here because this is important. Okay. This one. Vosh, please look at screen. Look at screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Just because people buy them because they're cheap does not make them good or fucking worthy of being bought. Just because they're popular doesn't mean they actually are good. Shut the fuck up.
Does that support your point, Benjamin Gilbert-Leff? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not talking to you anymore. No. And it retails for just $10,000 in China. $10,000. $10,000 for a good electric vehicle. Smaller sizes, innovative designs, and efficient business practices help keep price of Chinese autos down, but exploitative labor practices and enormous government subsidies also play a big role. Good. The government should subsidize stuff like this.
I hate you, Vosh. I hate you.
I'm very annoyed.
I knew this was gonna just destroy you. I knew this was gonna be me having fun playing Toyota Corolla ads from Billy Fusillo while you lose your mind.
Priced, as White House economist Lael Brainerd put it. Oh yeah, that's something that the American government is so concerned about. Unfairly underpriced goods. You know, that's true. That's so true. I mean, they shot in to like shut down Uber right off the bat. You know, when they deliberately underpriced their goods as a way of undercutting competition before raising.
Was he about to make a point?
No.
About undercutting?
I'm just processing the fact that he can't comprehend how undercutting markets is a bad thing. Especially
well, he's anti-capitalist.
Especially, well, it's not even anti-capitalist. It's literally China, an outwardly aggressive, openly antagonistic nation state headed by a fascist, is openly using money that they admit that they print and deflate at will to subsidize cars and export them using their developing nation status while they hold a space station, to flood foreign markets with awful, shitty, cheap, garbage cars that if people buy them will never buy another electric vehicle. What part of this sounds like a good thing? Does any of this sound good? Do we want people in electric vehicles? We should be pushing hybrids, by the way, not electric vehicles.
Oh, we've said this before with the hybrids. But again, I just want to remind people that buying a Chinese EV is bad for the environment.
Yes,
There's no emissions you can save from buying that car that can make up for the amount of cars that went to a landfill on subsidies to make that car so cheap in your country.
Yes. Yeah, that's the other
and
thing.
How many people died in the productions of those vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how much suffering has been inflicted through the, what is 90% stake of battery production, EV battery production, held by China, as well as all the other rare earth minerals.
Which then inflates the market already.
Yes.
Because there's only so much resources we can exploit.
Mm-hmm.
So now our green technology that is being developed, in a more ethical mean, but don't think for a second that I believe capitalism is just innocent,
Yeah.
So even if you can go to the most ethical capitalism, which still isn't ethical, just, it's like comparing like Hitler and Stalin, But seriously though, like you get to a point where you look at something and it's now more expensive because someone is flooding and controlling the market has nothing, it shouldn't be in your market at all. It should be a completely different market. But unfortunately, as Milton Friedman said, this is a pencil.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening to some stuff on the 100 Years of Humiliation of China. And what Britain and France did in the Opium Wars is literally this. Obviously, it's not war, and it's not like that, but it's forcing a product into the country that shouldn't be there and doesn't want to be there. But also, the Qing dynasty held control over opium production in the country. So they were also forcing in their product because they wanted their product because it was cheaper and easier to make and push into China. And this created the first and second opium wars, which is literally what China is trying to do now to the Western world, is
this.
What France and Britain did to China. Opium is I don't know. Nobody says this.
Nobody says this, but supplies as I spit the dog treat out that I was eating. Okay, nobody says this, but with supply side economics, it's like supply and demand. You as the supplier need to create the demand to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, are people demanding these cars? They don't know they want them yet. How do we make them want them? Well, we put them in their front yard and say, buy this or else it's going to stay here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to make the demand for the supply you have. And that's, advertising, all this shit. It's all like the idea of supply and demand actually doesn't exist. It's all manipulated by the capitalist who's convincing you through stealing your data with targeted ads to buy something.
You as the anti-capitalist should know this, Bosch. It's funny. Why does China particularly blind all of you people? What is it about China that, and their propaganda and their information warfare machine that blinds you so? I'm very curious.
I think it's just been years of China saying that they're investing in green technology and then getting journalists to write stories about it.
Yeah. Conditioning.
It costs $58. That's so true. You're definitely not just protecting American corporations. Piece of shit.
Correct.
Increasing the cost of electric vehicles seems to.
It's actually not about American corporations.
Cutting carbon emissions.
No, it's much more consumer protections. Much more, I think, on the line.
Again, it's also government bottom line protection.
Yes. Yeah.
Which in turn is because of the consumer protection.
Unironically, economic populism, I figure it's a campaign tactic. Wouldn't the UAW and Sean Fain love this? Yeah, but protectionism is dumb. That's the price. Bad. It's economically inefficient. The consumer.
It's literally socialism.
Tax credits for electric vehicles, for example, come with a long list of restrictions designed to nudge auto companies towards U.S. suppliers. That means fewer vehicles qualify than they would otherwise. But as a result, companies have already started shifting supply chains. The other goal, the tariffs are meant to buy U.S. industry more time to make the transition. Yeah, sorry.
Wait, you mean U.S. companies are already shifting supply chain? Epic. So it's working. Very cool.
Sorry, guys. We all need to drag our feet and continue buying overpriced cars in the meantime because our shit-ass extremely dumb.
Cars are overpriced because of
Isn't
dealerships.
Vosh's entire argument about why he defends the pedophile stuff is that he makes argument about pedophilia being like slave labor, right? Isn't that the argument? He's like, oh, you say pedophilia is wrong because the child's being exploited. What about the child labor that go in iPhone, right? Isn't Vosh the big advocate for thinks that labor also shouldn't exist? Isn't that his big thing when he defends his pedophilia takes? Is that argument? I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm genuinely not sure.
Oh, it is.
U.S. car industry,
but not when it comes to the Chinese products. Apparently, then the laborers
like more
and children who are exploited can get fucked.
You know, like this is the entire history of the American car industry over the past 40 years. By the way, is getting like objectively outperformed by the rest of the world as our government desperately tries to like hobble this crippled, underperforming industry along.
Good thing America's industry is fucking guns. And not also fucking cars.
Yeah. Also,
can you believe it? America isn't the #1 exporter of everything.
Who knew? You can import cars that are not from China. Funny. Yeah. Japan has been a very close partner with America, and they have a lot of cars. They're a
like
very
the
big
Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, it's very funny. Europe too. India produces a lot of cars. I've heard they're actually pretty okay. The Indian cars. So yeah, there are plenty of options. The Czechs make Skoda. I didn't know that. That explains why all the government vehicles are Skoda. Italians make very unreliable cars.
No. The high-end Italians.
Yeah, they're very unreliable. You ever seen a Ferrari? They're mostly on fire.
Was good when it came to the South Asian tigers in Cuba. What's the problem here? I don't know. I mean, maybe possibly.
Do you know why Lamborghini exists as a car company? Because Ferruccio Lamborghini who made tractors. Don't you fucking interrupt me. Ferruccio Lamborghini, the tractor maker, bought a Ferrari, said this is shit, I can make a better car, and did. That's why Lamborghini Lamborghini exists as a fuck you to Ferrari.
Do you know why Volkswagen exists?
Because Hitler wanted a car. Germany's car. The Beetle. Mercedes was around for a lot longer.
I know, but it's still like all those things. Like the reason why they're a mainstay is Nazi ingenuity.
Yes.
You have no
There's
idea
just a slight
what
difference in the economic circumstances.
It's just so embarrassing. At least have some humility.
Surrounding Cuba and the United States, you'd have to think like maybe different things are different because the situation is different sometimes. Maybe a glass of water is refreshing.
Wow, crazy. Maybe this situation about you claiming it's a trade war is different than the other thing that Trump did.
I don't know. Maybe there's like a slight difference there, possibly. We're a global superpower with trade ties to every country on Earth, basically, and Cuba is a hyper-sanctioned island nation off the coast of a country that hates them. But Cuba doesn't even engage in real protectionism. They get sanctioned. They're forced into protectionism, and they import when they can. It's not even comparable. I think protectionism can be fine.
Right.
Why are you coping by bringing Cuba into an argument to defend China's unfair fucking bullshit fascists?
Because Chatter said Cuba.
Superpower. We have the domestic economic base. There's bipartisan support for Made in America EVs. Yeah, there's bipartisan support for paying $80 trillion for Benjamin. Few Chinese electric vehicles are sold in the U.S., but industry fears a flood. Okay, Benjamin, I don't.
That is a good article. That headline is correct. Oh my God, you should listen to Benjamin right now. Industry fears a flood. I wonder if there's reason and precedent for that fear, or is it just because China?
Yeah. Australia hasn't seen an overwhelming flood of these garbage cars that are always up for sale, by the way.
I'm so mad that he has to spend so much time on everyone else, but somebody who's like, here's an actual source of what's going on. They're actually fearful of a flood because China keeps doing it. Wow, epic, awesome.
That's it, Buster. No more military aid.
Trying to make, but Chinese EVs aren't currently sold in the US, but the industry fears them is not something that deters it doesn't take away from my point that this is being done to protect domestic EV production.
Because they've seen what they've been doing in other countries, you fucking moron. It literally doesn't
protect domestic EV production either.
Jesus fucking Christ. Hold on, I'm just checking car sales. to see how many vehicles.
Remember what I
actually,
said? How there needs to be a demand.
So there's 250,000 second-hand vehicles.
Now I'm gonna
Let's
wash your
see.
beak now.
There's only 73 BYDs, which is great. The Great Walls is a few thousand.
I love the movie Kung Fu Panda.
Aren't as many as I thought there were going to be. There is you can buy a black cab from England. That's interesting. I'll keep looking.
You are supplying me articles that indicate, like, you say this doesn't affect anything anyway because Chinese EVs aren't coming in. That's because of the protectionist policies that already exist. It's not a virtue signal.
No, it's not.
This is basically like saying,
no,
like,
it's not. No, it is not. You find me one person out there right now trying to buy a Chinese EV and not getting it here. If somebody wants to buy a Chinese EV in this country, they'll get it. They're not here. Why is that? Economy 101. Supply, demand. It's not fucking complicated, bro. I'm sorry, chinchillas. I know, I shouldn't have yelled. Somehow the EV video is triggering me now because I'm getting into the fucking most basic economic bullshit. Like, this is like the most basic fucking brain take that you can understand with supply side economics. Like, it's only the principal foundation for all economic policy in the world now. Since capitalism won. Suck it, commies.
What do you think? The lizard people are in charge? No. Is that what you think?
To keep the foreigners out, and then Trump is like, "We're going to build an even bigger wall," and you're like, "Oh, it's a virtue signal." That doesn't mean anything. Well, no, it's a continuation of policies designed to protect American industry
was like the
from
N-word for
superior,
Italians. Yes, that was a mistake.
Cost Chinese EVs. It's not.
So they're like $70,000. That's $74,000. That doesn't sound very cheap. I would not be paying $70,000 for a BYD.
Come on, think about the consumer that's buying EVs. Do you think they care about how much money they are?
No, because they're all rich.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Do you remember how Biden specifically made a policy, right, to incentivize rich people to buy EVs, but not the low-income people? Why do you think that is?
It's because they're the ones that were going to buy them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because in the thing that I did for uni, they did a survey, and the only people that were in favor of banning petrol-powered vehicles were the ones rich enough to afford them and already going to buy an EV. Isn't that funny? That the only people that would support a full petrol ban was those people? Yeah.
Hey, guess why they're discussing banning cigarettes? You think
money?
You think people who smoke support that?
Not just a virtue signal. This is being done to
Why would
protect
they? No,
American
they
capital,
make money
and
off
it's
of
disgusting.
cigarettes. Banning them is a bad economic policy. If anything, it's a good health policy. It's not a good consumer policy. Maybe you could argue consumer protection, but it's not a good economic policy. But why would we? I mean, just think about it. It's almost like everything doesn't go down to economics, even though we're a capitalist system, huh?
Yeah.
It seems like there's other reasons you ban cigarettes.
Not necessarily, because I feel like if you have less money to spend on cigarettes.
Also, Biden did ban cigarettes.
Yeah, but if you don't spend money on cigarettes, you have more money to spend other places. So, could benefit the economy.
True, but cigarettes have high tax.
Fuck taxes.
Yeah. But that's government money, right? So the government makes more guaranteed from the cigarettes than if you buy something else. That said, why does governments put high taxes on the cigarettes to begin with?
Discourage people, I assume. That's
exactly.
What Australia
just like New York has a high sugar tax on sugary drinks, because sugary drinks used to be cheaper than water, bottled water from a tap.
Out of the nest. These are multi-billion-dollar American car industries that have chosen to suck ass for decades because they're horrible. Like, you understand, right?
Yes, because
I agree. My point is, this changes nothing.
Don't suck ass.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand, and I don't know why you feel the need to argue it so purposefully.
I don't think
you
don't understand, Vosh.
I know more than you.
Changes.
Yes.
in like Nevada or whatever. You don't need to go faster than this. A city car doesn't need to go faster. No car needs to go faster than this. You don't need to go faster than this. You're not on the
fuck you. If I want to go faster than that, I'll go faster than that. Go fuck yourself.
Autobahn. BYD EVs aren't being sold in the US right now, largely because of the 27.5% tariffs on the sale price of Chinese vehicles when they arrive at ports. Donald Trump slapped on the bulk of the tariff, 25% when he was president. Yep. And it was kept in place under Joe Biden. Man, pressing our own car companies to do better? No, that. The administration is also investigating cars made in China that can gather sensitive information. That's so great, dude. It's gonna be like everything, man. It's just gonna be like everything.
Hey, Josh, did you know China banned Teslas because of the same reason? Crazy. Who fucking knew? Wow. Did you know that EVs have self-driving capabilities which require cameras all over the cars? So why the fuck would you allow Chinese EVs into government areas? Are you fucking dumb?
Hey, did you know that China's robotaxis are fully operational according to this American journalist?
You know, no, actually, you can't get cheap pharmaceuticals from China because the pills that you swallow might have nano trackers that actually like gather and report on secret information on your. Yeah, man, the Chinese government is actually placing like nanobots in every wonton that you eat. When you go to Panda Express, every single fortune cookie, the paper actually has little like cameras on it.
The Chinese cannot produce things at a nano level. You dumbass. Nanotech. Yeah, dude.
God, that's great.
Right after they figure out the ballpoint pen, that's the next thing they jumped on. Then they finally made the ball at the point of ballpoint pens, and they said, "Hey, we can finally produce a ball that's at the end of a pen. Now we can go smaller. Now it's time to conquer the nano world, so we can make predator mosquitoes that will give everyone China virus. And by China virus, we mean it's Love Xi Jinping virus. It's like the Joker venom that he uses, you know.
Yes.
But it's when you see Xi Jinping."
Every nugget of orange chicken is a microphone. Yeah, it's not just conservative fear-mongering. Biden is doing that. That was a statement from the Biden administration. That wasn't Trump. The Biden administration is investigating cars made in China.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?